Hi, and welcome to CME webinar series Powerplay 600. My name's Toby. I'm the Director of Education of CME. Glad to have you back with us. Today, I'm joined by none other than Ian Peake. How are you doing today, Ian?
Hi, Toby. Great to be here. Thank you. I'm fine. Looking forward to today's Powerplay 600 with you. Great.
Fantastic. Well, you and I have been in contact for quite some time, Ian. I'm really glad we finally got the opportunity to listen to you. So I'm really looking forward to this. So Ian, for people who haven't met you, who are you?
Professionally, Toby, I've been a golf coach for the last 30 years. And in 2017, based on my kind of work with people and my academic study, I've moved into the business sector, supporting business managers within the golf industry and also outside the golf industry. That's very much the tone of today's presentation for you.
Fantastic. And where are you based, Ian?
I'm based in Southwest Germany. As you can maybe tell from my accent, I'm still Scottish, but I've been in Germany for 30 years as well.
Ah, fantastic. So we're doing a Powerplay 600 seconds of one content on one subject, and you have chosen quite a special one, Ian. Tell us about your subject.
Yeah, the 8 mental tools for high performance. Really a combination, Toby, of my work as a golf coach with people moving forward, and particularly the academic learning I've had at university since 2013. These are kind of 8 mental tools that almost all high performers seem to identify with and use. I said since 2017, I've transferred these tools from sport into business, and that's really a lot of enjoyment for me and get some great feedback from my clients. So that's what I'm going to share with you today.
Fantastic. I look forward to listening to you, and I bet everyone who's watching also do that. So without further ado, take it away, Ian.
Right, Toby, look forward to it. Great stuff. Let's get started. So thank you for joining me this morning for this presentation. As you see there, the 8 mental tools for high performance management. Let's get started. So what are we really talking about? If I'm with my clients and we're talking about high performing manager, what are we really seeing and what are we really experiencing? So I often compare my clients with a racing car, and what we tend to see in the performance are these things called the key attitudes. These will be things like self-confidence, I can do the job, self-efficacy, I believe I can make change, and also that I have my people in the boat with me. This thing of transformational leadership, we're going in the same direction. So that's kind of the visible part of the management. That's the visible part of the performance. But we're looking today at the stuff underneath that presentation, underneath the chassis. And these are the 8 mental tools. As I said before, this is material I brought from the sports coaching area of high performing athletes, Olympians, world champions. And these 8 mental tools are also known as these PCDEs, the psychological characteristics in developing excellence. It's a kind of framework for being the framework that's under the chassis of the high performer. It would be only fair for me to mention these 2 people as well, Dave Collins and Anya McNamara, who are 2 of the leading lights behind this research work. This is what we're looking at today, the 8 mental tools behind these kind of high performing attitudes of managers. So let's move into this. So what we're really talking about, if high performance is the product, what we are producing, then what are these 8 mental tools? Well, let's start at the top here. So number 1 would be commitment. And commitment is really doing the everyday jobs as well as we can. So for you as a business manager, that might be taking 2 minutes in the morning to speak to the cleaning staff. How are they getting on? How are things with them? It may be checking on that email to your staff on clarity of message. Is the email brief enough? Is the message I want to convey clear enough? These are typical commitment PCDEs, mental tools. Moving on from there, personal goal setting and checking. So the work I do with my managers isn't about profit and loss or turnover, but more about them and what they are doing and how that can impact the business. Personal goal setting may be one day a week, I'm going to have a lunch date with a new member to find out why did they join our club and not somewhere else. Two of my clients suffer from high blood pressure, so part of their personal goal setting is taking 3 minutes twice a day to work on their breathing exercises, which has been shown to lower blood pressure. And with the checking part, how can we get this done? Obviously, writing the goals down near the laptop on a post-it note, somewhere we can tick them off as we go through. So that's our second PCDE for high performance. The third one, planning and organisation. I say typically in your club, you're going to build a new bar. You've got your fixed price offers, you've got your tradesmen organised, you've got your timeline for a smooth transition from the old bar to the new one. So your planning and organisation obviously makes your life easier. But linking into that as number 4 of our mental tools is your mental warm-up. That's your plan B and C. What happens when it goes wrong? In sports psychology, we talk about being ready for success by being prepared for failure. So your plan B and C would mean, okay, what happens if the electricians can't come? What happens if the carpet isn't ready? So our plan B and C as part of our PCDEs is really that mental warm-up. Okay, when it goes wrong, how am I going to react to get things back on track? That's our 4th mental tool. The 5th one, really important, and with my work within the business industry, something I think a lot of managers can profit from, is self-imagery. Now, if you're a manager at a club, self-imagery doesn't mean we want to be Augusta or want to be the Sunningdale of the North in the UK. This is about you as a manager and who do you want to become? Who are your role models? Some could say, oh, I like the work style and the presentation of a Karen Brady in the UK, or Richard Branson, or is it Robert Sedici, the manager at Medina, I like his style. And having that self-imagery, looking towards a role model is really important for us to improve our PCDs and move towards that performance that we want. Self-imagery means moving towards a role model and knowing how they do and how they perform will influence how we perform as well, which is great. Our 6th one is realistic performance evaluation. Now, this isn't filling out a questionnaire, but these are the chats we have with ourselves in the car going home from a busy day. How did I perform today? How was my tone with the members? Where was at my best and where could my performance been better? That's a kind of reflective tool. Drive home, looking in the mirror and saying, okay, where was I good today and where could have been better? And in conjunction with that, we have our 7th PCDE, which is a self-regulation and awareness. So let's say I shouted at Andy today or was a bit loud. Did that help me? Did that take me towards my goal? Did I feel good about myself for shouting at Andy? Could I have done it differently to have got towards my end goal? As we see there, the self-regulation and awareness and the realistic performance evaluation, very much reflective tools. Me looking at myself and saying, okay, where was I good and where could have been better? Because as soon as I become aware of what I'm doing, I can change and improve myself for my performance, but also for my personal well-being. And last but not least, how is my social support network? Now, we're all on LinkedIn, we're all on Facebook, we're all on Twitter. That's not really a support network. Your support network will tend to be with 3 or 4 colleagues, maybe maximum, in a similar boat to yourself who are not direct competition. Men or women who are going through similar journeys that you can pick up the phone and talk about the stresses and the benefits of what you're doing. So these are the 8 PCDEs, the 8 mental tools under the bonnet of the Formula One car, under the bonnet of high performance. You think, okay, nice, but how can I use these and move on? How can I improve my performance through the PCDEs? So the first thing we would have, what I do with my clients, is rating your own PCDEs, your own mental tools. That'd be from 1 to 10. 1 would be obviously the lowest possible, and 10 would be something you couldn't improve. And your rating may look like this. This is one of my clients. So we say he rated himself after a lot of thought, commitment. Number 7, doing the everyday jobs well. Number 7 out of 10. His goal setting, he was either 8 out of 10. His planning and organization, gave himself a 6. His mental warm-up, gave himself a 6. And interestingly, his imagery, way down there at 3, he didn't identify a role model at that time, someone he really enjoyed the work of. His realistic performance evaluation, his drive homes, what did I do today, where could I improve myself tomorrow, he gave himself a 7. His regulation, self-regulation awareness, a 6. And again, we see his social support down at a 3. So after this initial feedback from him, we started to work on his imagery. He identified 2 business managers he really enjoyed, who he respected. And also we built a little WhatsApp group for him with 2 or 3 colleagues who he knew, and they communicate regularly, meet once a month to basically chew the fat. So that's kind of rating the 8 PCDEs. And once you've rated yourself, obviously you can then start to improve them. The 8 mental tools. So, what are we really talking about? What are we talking about? Reviewing these 8 PCDs. What's my message today to you? Number 1, these are the behaviors of high performers. Whether it's a business manager, a top artist, a sports performer. These are the behaviors of high performers, these 8 mental tools. They underpin the key attitudes. So they help create key attitudes like self-confidence, I can do the job. The PCDs help create self-efficacy, I can create change. And really important, as we know, they can create and help form transformational leadership, the idea that everyone's in this boat together. And last but not least, they benefit performance and the personal well-being of the manager. They had a lot of stuff about how businesses perform and turnover and being a team player, but who's there for the manager himself? And this is my kind of ethos within business. There's no high performance in the long term without the manager being in a good position himself or herself. And that was the PCDEs this morning. Thank you, Toby.
Excellent. I have to say I really enjoy that, and the 8 PCDEs really work together with the management development program that we do in order to try and develop managers and becoming the best they can be, and helping the clubs, etc. One of the 8 I really enjoyed listening to a bit was the mental warm-up. I like the way it sounded, like mental warm-up, and the plan B or C, because we talk a lot about scenario planning, like when you have strategies. So you have to look at scenario planning. You can't just go with one. You have to look at what does it mean. So I really enjoy doing the scenario planning exercises. So this will be really, and then calling it the mental warm-up. I really enjoy that. So well done. So these 8 things we've now experienced, well, about 8 months of COVID-19 in 2020. So naturally for me, it just feels like I would ask you, what happens with this model when crisis happens? What do you think the ratings will change? What happens to people?
Without doubt, without doubt, I think the big thing for me, Toby, and my work with my clients is reflective practice. The client, the individual taking, okay, where am I at? And for in a personal basis, basically looking at taking his whiteboard or her whiteboard, say, okay, where am I at the moment? What are the challenges I'm feeling as an individual? Am I feeling lonely? Feeling lonely, look at the PCDs. Okay, number one would be social support. Can I lean on the same people? Do I need other people to lean on? Who's helped me in the past? For me in the past, my go-to in difficult times was always my father. He was number one. My number one social support was I speak to my dad. He's unfortunately passed on. Now my number one social support is my wife. And within the industry, I have 3 colleagues I go and talk to. So that would be typical for this moment would be social support. Who can I lean on? I can talk to, not a business chat, not small talk, but who can I really open my heart to about where I'm going? The second would be, for me, commitment. Okay, what can I control today and how well can I do it? Let's say I'm doing more and more work online, think, okay, what can I do today? I'll phone Toby Hansen again. Hi, Toby, long time no chat. How are things with CMAE? I'm still here. Love to talk to you soon about a new business idea I have. So it's being flexible, planning an organization. We'd hope next week to go on holiday with our kids. New lockdown, so plan B is, okay, lockdown, what can we do now with our kids? What can we do locally? What can we do with the bikes? What can we do walking in the forest? And that mental warm-up, Toby, telling the kids now we can't go to Europa Park because it's closed down, but we're going to have a couple of great days here walking in the forest, looking for the foxes and the bears and the squirrels. So it really is, you look at the situation you're in, where am I, and what PCD do I need to tap into to help my performance, whether it's as a dad, as a businessman, as a golf coach, as a father, as a parent.
So it applies everywhere. That's what you're saying.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does. And I think for, as in anything, if it's written down, I've got my 8 PCDs before me, I think, okay, what are the issues here? And let's look at my plan. Where do I need to go with this? My self-imagery. And if I'm feeling, let's say, not so good about myself, how can I improve my self-imagery? Who do I want to become? Maybe I can lose 2 or 3 kilos. So how can I start that today? I go for an oral jog. I go for a couple of walks. I'll reduce my beer intake, let's say. So I say you've got at the top, the attitudes, the key attitudes which are positive. They can also be sometimes a bit negative. You know, I'm feeling a bit low, I'm feeling a bit lonely. And then you look at the PCDs, the level below that, and what PCD can I use to improve that key attitude, to improve the thing that I'm feeling that is visible, I can really touch.
Great. So my final question to you, you've now been in the industry for, as you said, over 30 years. So you have these 8 PCDs. If you look at the club manager and the work that they're doing, would you rate any of these 8 sort of traits higher or lower, or are they all equal?
No, again, this is a great thing. Everyone's different. And so they have different strengths and weaknesses within the PCDEs. Speaking from my experience, the 5 business managers I support at the moment, when we started, they were all low in social support. So it was very much, I say, the boss syndrome. I make the decisions, which was great, but really at the moment they felt lonely in making those decisions. 2 of them had good conversations with their wives, their life partner, but 3 were very much in their own little world. And I would say, Toby, they suffered for that. They weren't as happy as they could have been because there was no vent, there was no way out for the situation they were in. They were leaders, they chose to be leaders, the big staff, over 100 people, but they were very much on their own because they didn't have an inner circle to vent with, to talk about what was going on. I guess I filled that space with those gents, and they also have now their kind of small social support. So that's certainly my experience, that men particularly aren't particularly good at having a social support network.
Very interesting. Well, again, thank you so much for doing this, Ian, with us, a Powerplay 600 on the 8 mental tools. So you guys out there, if you have some feedback for Ian or for us, please send us an email on office@cmaeurope.org. Use the www, what went well, if there's something specific you like with this, or an EBI, even better if, maybe it's a 9th one that you have identified that you want to tell Ian. But please get in touch, and I'm sure you can send directly also to Ian because he had his details within the presentation. Otherwise, we'll make sure to send it to him. Thank you so much, Ian, again for doing the Powerplay 600. We look forward to talking to you again. And everyone out there, stay safe, stay healthy, take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Toby.